Well, howdy. Welcome here to the Double M Farm once again. This is part 3 of the farm pond build. And I've gotten some work done since part 2, but not as much as I was hoping. Got thrown a curve. Didn't expect this, but the outcome is looking good. Had my yearly checkup and blood work. And all you men out there will know what I'm talking about. My PSA was elevated. So after a couple of doctor's visits and some checking, I was sent in to have my prostate biopsied. And because of the high PSA, they weren't real thrilled. They did a CT scan and found a big black mass in my prostate. So I had to have a biopsy. And to those of you who have had your prostate biopsied, you know what I'm talking about. To any of you men out there who haven't had your prostate biopsied, God bless you and good luck to you, because it ain't pleasant. Laying on a table on your side with a probe up your butt. And they basically, in my case, stuck a needle in my prostate 12 times. 12 needles 12 times in 12 different places to draw tissue samples. And it's taken a little time to get over that. I won't draw this out and be too graphic, but I will say that all of the biopsies, praise God, came back negative. The mass is benign, and turns out to be a calcium deposit, which is not unusual for me because I grow kidney stones. They also told me during the CAT scan that I am currently carrying 8, count them, 8 kidney stones, all through my 2 kidneys and tubes and bladder and places. So that, just the recovering from the biopsy takes some time. A lot of bleeding from places you don't like to bleed. And man, the weakness, I didn't realize it would knock me down, but it did. But I'm back up, I'm better, and I'm starting to get back to work. So after getting through that, I'll give you a quick rundown of where we are in terms of the pond and why I haven't already started posting pictures of digging. I'm letting the girls do a lot of cleanup work. They're helping, as you can see. Some of the factors that I'm having to work with before I even start dealing with the pond. We had a humongous storm and rain last night here in the upstate of South Carolina. Just massive amounts of water. And I'm sure you can see right there where the water ran through this gully here. We're not even at the pond site. We're up in the front pasture. I have dug a ditch with the Harbor Freight trencher right here. You can see the ditch in the bottom of the gully, and dug a catch basin to slow the water down. And currently it slows down until this catch basin fills up, and then it runs over the low point of the catch basin and just spreads out and runs on down. And there is my pond site way over yonder. So before I do a lot of pond digging, I've got to control this water. But what we're going to do is, I have most of the old fence down off the old property line. And this is all that's left from that wood post right there at that gate. All the way to the back, the fence is down. And that's where the pond's going to be, where you see the roll of wire down there. That's the head of the pond going on towards the back. So all of this is going to come out, and then I'll be able to start at that catch basin with the Harbor Freight trencher and dig a ditch over and tie it into this existing ditch, which runs basically on the old property line. So I never could do anything with it because it was right on the old property line. And that's why I had to jog my fence to get across it, because it starts out on my side of the property and then crosses my fence and gets in the property line. So that's just one of the reasons I was having so much trouble keeping my fence upright and clean and standing every time we'd have a big rain. So we're getting that taken care of. I'm going to get this, since we had that big rain, I'm not going to dig today because what I'm walking on is like a sponge. So I'll be getting that dug out, cleaning out this ditch. Of course, this fence will be gone. And I'll be widening and deepening this ditch to help control that storm runoff. And then right here is where we get to the spring coming out of the ground here and running on into what will be the pond site. So I know I had promised you that I would have a video showing red digging, but given my little detour through the hospital, I've had to just take a little longer than I wanted to. But I'm feeling better every day. As you can see, this is where the fence used to be, and it is no longer here. So there's a couple of T-posts that are so deep because storm runoff has just filled it in. So I'm going to dig those up with the Harbor Freight trencher when I get it down here. Going to put a bridge right here where I've cut this stuff up and be able to crawl the trencher and drive the tractor and dumpy across there to get access to the other side of the creek. I could crawl the trencher right through it, but I'd just be tearing up the creek, and I don't want to do that. So I'll be crawling. You can see before the health problem hit, I had started cutting and cleaning. Step over the creek here. Try to move fast here. I don't want to bore you with a long, boring video, but you can see I'm cutting out a path to crawl the Harbor Freight trencher in here. I'm going to have to dig and move dirt with the trencher because there is so much water here from the springs that I can get neither the dumpy or the tractor down in here without sinking them. You see how much water there is. And it's like that even when we don't have a rain. But I do have it cut to where I can crawl the Harbor Freight trencher in here now and start digging right there. Basically, everything you see here will eventually be a big, deep hole full of water. And once I get that dug out, then I'll start on the back side of the hole and just keep making the hole bigger going that way. So I'll basically be taking that ditch, digging it out wider this way, and then just following the ditch all the way to the back, widening it and deepening it. I can get down 7.5 to 8 foot deep. So it'll fill up with water to the current level of the ditch before it runs off. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll dig it out on the other side as well. But that's a quick update just to, and I've had several people ask, are you digging yet? No, I've been sitting in the recliner and recuperating is what I've been doing. But I am back at it now, and hopefully within a few days I will be digging. And when I do, I promise, when the backhoe hits the dirt and a load drops into dumpy, I will video it so you can see the Harbor Freight trencher digging and loading into little dumpy up there, and how much weight he'll handle and how well he'll dump. Now we're on the other side. You can see through there, hopefully, where I was just standing that I had cleaned out. Now we're on this side. There's the hole at the head of what I'm calling the head of the pond. I'll be cutting these trees that are too big to bush hog, then back the bush hog in there to clean that up, and just reach in there with a little red, the trencher, and clean it out. And then I can put red right here and start digging this side, because I'm going to dig that side out to the hill next to the fence, and then I'll dig this side out probably to about here. So we'll have a good wide 8 foot deep hole there. And then, as you can see, the ditch running through the woods right there, we'll just be digging out both sides, that side coming this way and the other side going that way. Just keep digging him wider and deeper and working our way down all the way to about where you see that next roll of wire. Somewhere right along there, just past that's where I'll stop with the actual pond, and then the ditch will be the spillway, and I'll start working on widening it to handle the storm runoff and that kind of thing. But that's where we are. Would be a little further along if I hadn't had the health detour. But the bad news is I had a health detour. The good news is everything is looking good. So you haven't gotten rid of me. I'm not going to be kicking the bucket or anything anytime soon, we hope. So I'll be out here digging pretty soon. You can see how the storm clogged up the creek right there. I'm going to have to dig that, clean that out. You can see how the storm water spread out here. That's why this has all got to be cleaned out to handle the runoff. It only does this about twice a year, maybe 3 times a year generally, in the 15 years that I've been here. Do we have enough rain for it to do that in here? But that's enough to make a mess. So that's where we are, and progress is being made, and more will be done, and I promise I'll get it on video so you can see it. So thank you for joining us here on the Double M Farm, and I'll talk to you again real soon.